Alright, before we jump into this episode of Talking Trophies, make sure you guys subscribe. And we're giving out a extra large Lancelot by any means necessary shirt we just copped, and we're gonna give it to one of our viewers. Make sure you just subscribe, you're following our page, and we're gonna DM you and we'll get your details and we'll ship you the order.
Hit a pen out, pull up heavy, in the lamb, on a Eddie. I got 3 O's, run a valley. These new Dior's, not for belly. Stay that money, I for Perry. I shoot jumpers, call me Larry. Then they in Yonkers, I need a Navy. Don't need a sponsor, already heavy.
Let's go. Welcome to Talking Trophies. I'm Ravo, and today we're joined by a special guest, DaCosta.
Thanks for having me, bro. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you on board. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow our page, and check us out on Instagram and on our YouTube channel. Make sure you guys leave a comment and like our videos and let us know what you think about the video. Let's jump into the video, man. Yo, thanks for jumping on firstly. Appreciate you coming on.
Oh, like I said, pleasure to be here, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
You know, you do quite a bit. He's got a podcast called Bournexbred. You're on the radio as well with music and more. With poetry and rap, Kofi.
Kofi C, that's my
Kofi C,
which is my middle name, Kofi Christian.
And you do, you're a videographer as well.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, man. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure.
First thing I want to ask is DaCosta your real name?
Yeah, it is. It is. The reason why my last name is DaCosta and like not a Ghanaian name is just because my dad's father was Brazilian.
Okay.
Hence why I got DaCosta. So and then so that's and then Noah just I don't know. Christian parents.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of friends like West African friends. They're like their names are like straight Bible names. Like for example, hope.
Joy, harmony,
heaven. Forgiveness.
Yeah. Patience is a big one too.
Patience. Yeah, true.
Yeah, so just tell us about what you do. I know I just named some of the things you do. So tell our viewers about what you do. Give them an idea of who you are as well as a person.
Yeah, man. Well, basically, like the reason why, so like with like Bournexbred, for example, that's kind of all based around kind of discussions and interviews, particularly around kind of Melbourne's like kind of art and music culture and wider Australia, but with a particular focus on Melbourne. That's why it's called Bournexbred, Melbourne and Bread. And then Music and More, the radio show I do. I co-host that with a guy called James, and that's just like playing music. We're going to get some interviews there soon, but we started I joined on in COVID, so I haven't had a chance to do that yet. But again, music, interviewing artists, etc. Kofi C, that's my own rap poetry. I love music. Music is like a big reason and kind of part of like why I do this stuff. Like Bournexbred was kind of inspired by my love of the Melbourne kind of like music scene in particular. And then videography was just kind of like I just really love it. But I think everything I do is kind of like inspired by my kind of interest of just kind of people, kind of exploring people and what makes them tick and like in the context they belong in. And what makes me say that's because I've moved around a lot. I'm originally from the UK, as you might be able to hear from my accent. But then when I was like 9, we moved to America. We lived there for 4 years. And then 2012, when I was 13, we moved here. Now, so we've been here for like 9 years. 9 years now? 10 years. I don't know. Something like that. And
Are
so...
you a citizen?
Yeah, I'm a citizen now. Yeah.
I have to double check.
But at this point, man, at this point, this guy's Mr. International, man.
International.
Homeboy's got Ghanaian, Caribbean, Portuguese, they got Brazilian, homeboy West America.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, I think like just my experience of just kind of being around the world, like moving around the world, and then like just like being, like I'm not fully Ghanaian, I'm not fully Caribbean, got Portuguese last name, like all that kind of stuff has like made me like I'm just really interested in like how different people tick. Like England was like the only place where like England, like plenty of Caribbeans, West Africa, plenty of people like that, but then when I moved out of America, I was like, oh crap, things are so different. And I move out again, it's like it gets kind of, when you move and you like travel and stuff like that, anybody who travels knows or has moved, it just opens your mind, and like it's like I think my focus is always going to be on just exploring that, the differences between people, and it just in doing so, like it opens your mind, it challenges you.
So it gave you like a little, you got more of an open perspective.
Yeah, and that kind of inspires like kind of why like everything I do is kind of all based around that, really. Yeah,
that's intense, man. You do a lot. Like from here, we only got like 4 things you do. You probably do much more than that. So from that, you know, like my like perception is like you're a productive person. You know, you're doing quite a bit. You got a lot of projects under your belt. How do you define productivity yourself? And
You mentioned that you said I was a productive person before we started rolling. And I find it kind of funny because I don't feel productive for one. Like I do a lot of things and I'm happy to do it. I'm blessed to do them, but I always feel like I could be doing it better. And sometimes that can be a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. You definitely don't want to get to a point where you just feel like, oh, like I'm good, or maybe you do. I don't know. But I think in terms of what a productive person is, you know, on the contrary to like kind of what's kind of those like, you know, motivation pages will tell you, I feel like being productive is just doing what you do well and with passion.
Yeah.
And just actually like showing up and treating what you do with, you know, like treating what you do like as if it's a necessity. Not in the sense that like you're gonna like lose sleep or like burn yourself out doing it, but just in the sense that like, you know, say if you're gonna like a productive person, like, you know, like I do like those things and everything like that, but like someone who wakes up, goes to uni, goes home, and that's it. Like that's the uni's only the thing they do. If they're doing uni well, then they're productive, you know?
Yeah.
And if they're actually like trying, even if they're getting like average marks, if they're trying, then they're productive.
Yeah.
You know, just people, it's spending your time well, basically, whether or not that's with actually something that can be kind of measured with, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I got an uncle. He says this always to my cousins. I remember when I was with them, visiting them, he'd always tell them. For some reason, I'd trip out why he'd say it, but like every time, like he'd leave them, he'd tell them, "Be yourself, be your best," and that's it. They go. But it just stuck with me. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, hey, he said that, but that for me, that's something I'd probably define as productivity. And on that, with like influencers, you know, in the modern day, have you seen? I don't know. It's like a trend on TikTok. You see like influencers like, I wake up at 5 a.m. I meditate for 1 hour. I make breakfast. Then I go for a walk. Then I start work. Then after that, I read.
You part of the 5 a.m. club?
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like this idea they create like this. It's like no one's doing that every day.
Yeah.
But the average viewer, when you're watching this, for example, when you watch this on TikTok, you're just like, damn, I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing enough to be productive. So I don't consider myself productive. For me, when I see like your portfolio, I'm like, okay, this guy's quite a productive person. Do you know what I mean? Like you're doing quite a bit. And myself too, like I do quite a bit besides talking trophies, you know, and I consider it productive. But at the same time, I play FIFA.
Yeah.
I watch movies. I watch TV shows.
Go out with the boys.
I go out with the boys. I sleep in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my idea is for productivity is when you're doing what you do, try your best at the time.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And I think try your best and push yourself, and don't measure that by like other people, because that's something that I struggle with sometimes, you know, like again, like, you know, you saying that I look productive, sometimes I get in a place where I'm looking at other people, I'm like, oh, I'm not productive, more than I'd like to be the case, I feel, but really it's kind of, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's kind of the whole thing about like, well, you know, it's being in competition with yourself versus other people, like rather than trying to, you know, obviously TikTok and stuff will have you wanting to wake up 5 a.m, etc., do all that kind of stuff. But really it's like, but for you, does your life need that? Does what you do need that? Like, I don't need to wake up at, like, for what I do, I don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. If it helps me, then sure, maybe I should try and do it. But there's no reason for me to wake up 5 a.m. and meditate for, an hour and then, you know, just read a book just for the sake. I mean, obviously reading's great. You know, read more.
I think it's like, I see a lot of those 5 a.m. stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, me personally, I love that stuff, man. Like me, like that thing has so many benefits. This and what they say, it has so many benefits. But what I realize is, your routine doesn't have to be for everyone. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like everyone can have a routine as long as it works for them, and they can benefit from it, and they can progress and get better and better. I feel like it's cool, but you can be 5 a.m. You can wake up at 11 p.m. go to the gym and just smash out to 3 a.m. and come home sleep. You know, like that could be your thing. You know?
Yeah. Well, no, here's the thing. Like, I'm not against it of actually waking up 5 a.m. Like, you know, I definitely want to wake up earlier. But again, kind of like you're saying, it's more about like finding like your own routine. You know, like what works for you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Personally, I feel like I wake up sometimes like, because I pray the morning prayer. That's before sunrise. That's generally like 5:30.
Yeah.
I would go to sleep because of like, let's just say the circumstances we're in right now. But if it was general time, let's just say at that time, I'd do that, pray. Then I'd go gym, for example. After gym, I'd come home. I'd sleep for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know, I'm not those guys that wake up like 1 hour and a half because I work from home. I'm not those guys that wake up 1 hour and a half before work. But I'll be honest with you, I wake up 15 minutes before work. I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I sit down on my laptop and I start my day of work. You know, but like, there's this idea, like I feel like people, especially even our viewers that are watching, they don't need to fall like victim to this and become insecure, like saying, oh, I'm not productive enough if I'm not doing what the guy that's going viral on TikTok is doing, or the girl that's going viral on TikTok is doing, you know? And productivity is I feel like is a subjective.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Subjective term.
Definitely. I was talking to someone the other day, like, do you see productivity as like a necessity in life? Like, do you feel like we're put on this earth to be productive? And this sounds like a weird question, but the reason why I ask is because, like, you know, some people would say like society, capitalism, whatever, makes, you know, is like there to kind of make you believe that if you're not being productive, you don't have value, basically, or you lack meaning. Do you feel like how do you feel about that, basically, when you hear that?
Have you seen that episode of Rick and Morty? Have you watched Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I've seen the whole thing. Yeah,
you know the one where like he has like his battery is a world that's charging.
Oh yeah.
So right now, if we're lazy, that's what we are. If you're not productive, you're that battery. You know what I mean? And you're not making that car run. Whenever cars, we're a battery right now. This world's a simulation, and we're charging something else. And if we're not productive, whatever we're charging isn't gonna work efficiently.
Yeah.
But on the real, I reckon. I feel like discipline is more important in comparison to productivity.
I think you can't be productive without discipline.
Yeah, no, I feel that 100%.
Being disciplined, you don't have to like, you know, like 5 a.m. every day, but like, for example, like, and you're going to have a productive day, but having the discipline, let's just say, of waking up 5 a.m. Every day. You know what I mean? You're like, you know what? I don't have anything to do, for example, but like, I want to train myself. I want to discipline myself. Or, you know, I want to have the discipline of going to the gym, you know? For the sake of it, I feel like discipline is more important than productivity, because without discipline, you don't become productive.
Yeah, I feel that. And you kind of don't become anything, because like, you just basically, you just live, you're in control of your thoughts, your emotion, the world, everything, you know? Nah, I agree with that big time. Definitely. I'm definitely trying to get more discipline. Like,
it's hard. It's not easy, man.
It's not easy, but
like people making it seem like it's easy. It's not easy. I feel like discipline, it's a whole life where you gotta work with discipline. Like it's something we gotta strengthen. I feel like discipline is the main thing.
You know, when you're comfortable, when you're complacent, you don't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They say comfort and ease, the killer of dreams.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, what is it? Give a man, what is it? It's like food, stable job.
Yeah. Give a man fish, feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, feed him for life.
Yeah.
But like, you know, when you asked the question about how like, do you think productivity is, you know, like whatever it was that you asked, I feel like everyone should be productive. I'm not for that 100%, but I do think everyone should be productive. But it depends what you define as productivity. For example, it doesn't have to be about making money. I feel like one thing I realized in my community that I've seen, when a person retires, they retired, they finished working, they've been the most productive. They've done the hard yards, they've saved up all the money, retirement fees, whatever, and now they're chilling, kicking back. Bro, they age so quick, man. Like, they age like that. Like, in a year span, they will age crazy. So I feel like human beings were naturally created and wired to move, to be doing something. Whether it doesn't have to be about work, it could be even like a hobby. It could be fishing. It could be like going for a hike. It could be like knitting, making something, having a craft, doing this, you know? I feel like we've always have to be on the move. But like, we're not meant to be staying in one spot. And when I went overseas, I went to Indonesia, I went to Bali and stuff, you know? I saw people there. These guys, they got like the street bikes. So you jump on, you pay them a little bit, whatever. They're so chill, man. Like, they live a lifestyle where they're so chill. They work hard. Yeah?
How old are they? The guys that are riding the bike?
Yeah, they're maybe in their 30s or 40s, you know? They got their bike, they'll do maybe 3-4 trips, and food is cheap there. So they'll buy the food, their meal, they'll have whatever they need for their health, family, and then they'll kick back or have those have a ciggy, whatever, on the sides. Then they'll sit there for a while, you know? And like, for them, they're like, I'm not saying they live happy lives or whatever. They wouldn't want our life, but I'm saying like, the stress of the expectation of you have to be doing etc, you know, status quo, otherwise you have no value. Don't really have that, man. And like, I feel like it's always important to make, like what our uncle said, like what he said about our uncle. it's always, regardless of what you do, try to be better at it and try to progress.
Yeah.
But don't kill yourself at it, you know? Like, don't undermine
Don't
your
lose
capabilities.
don't lose your values.
That's
for
it, exactly,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know,
Because
like, even
what you
me-
do doesn't give you value. It's who you are that gives you value.
Even us, like when we do, for example, talking trophies and stuff. Obviously, every episode, if you see from our first episode, we try our best. One, to always drop content as much as we can.
Yeah.
Even right now, we're not even meant to be dropping content. We're actually in our break. We're having a break now.
Yeah.
Right.
God damn.
You can't be coughing around that now
can't be
these days,
coughing
man.
like that,
You can't be
man.
coughing now these days, man. Hey, this guy sound like you be funny, bro. Look at me,
It's true.
like, yo.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah. So like with us, we're not meant to be dropping. Right now, it's meant to be our break. We're literally in a break between to work for our third season. But we obviously, due to circumstances, we can't. But with this, we always try to be ourselves. Like try our best. We always say like be ourselves. You know, we always try to keep our values. Like for example, individuals have reached out to me, said, "Hey, yo, we'd like to collaborate with you. Hey, can we do something with you?" But the thing is, like, let's just say I believe my cousins wouldn't like. That's not in our values, you know.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
episodes like that. We didn't want to put stuff out there like that. I'm happy to put anything out there. I don't care. I'm an unfiltered person.
Yeah.
But there's certain stuff I'm just like, yo, this is not like this doesn't align with my values.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're not gonna put it out. And at the same time, we're being ourselves and we're trying to be our best.
Yeah.
So with this, we try to be as productive as possible as well. You just got to do whatever you do. You just got to try being as productive as possible.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I feel like we'll jump over to the next topic. And you spoke about this earlier, the influence music has had on your life. And how do you feel like music has impacted you as a person? Like even if you go through Instagram, there's pictures like with your dad's holding the guitar. Or,
Oh yeah.
you know, like music has such an impact on you. So like tell us a little bit about that. For example, your journey in music as well, and how you feel like it's impacted your personality.
Yeah, man. Well, I think, well, music, yeah. So music's been a big part of my life from the start. Like, again, my dad, he plays like a bunch of instruments. My mum's a big music fan as well. Like, it's just always been like always in the house. Like, coming to a house, you're gonna hear music coming from somewhere. I think, I mean, it's a bit of a tricky question to answer because it's impacted my life so much. But I think one of the major ways it did in terms of who I am now, I think music was the first thing, or one of the first things in which like I kind of actively took control of it and like crafted it for myself. And what I mean by that is like, you know, like as a kid, you might find you're into like whatever, but you're kind of into it. But like music was the first thing I kind of jumped into, and I was like, oh, actually, no, I like this, I don't like this, and actually kind of like I carved out what I liked, and kind of it was kind of the first thing that kind of made my, not the first thing, but the first major thing in terms of me, you know, going from like a boy to an adult. Like it's not that it made my personality, because you know, obviously you meet people whose like whole personality is just like one thing. It's like that's not that level, but it's like, it just I think not only did it kind of like, was it the avenue in which I was kind of able to like discover more of myself and who I am, but it was the avenue which kind of directed me to like what I do now.
Yeah.
Like when I came out of high school, I was doing construction management and I hated it. Like I couldn't stand it. Not because it's a bad career, but just for me, like, you know, maths, like what? Like, nah, not at all, you know, but you know, it's again
And let me guess, did you do it for your parents?
my dad specifically.
Yeah,
My mum, she was born and raised in, she was born and raised in England, so she's like not as thing, but my dad, he's a bit more, you know, West
No qualification, you're useless, yeah?
Yeah.
It's for all of us, man.
It's ironic too, because he's a professor of animation.
Yeah.
But like, but he was telling me to be doctor, lawyer, engineer, whatever. I'm like, which is like, but you're creative too. But anyway, it's just crazy how people kind of get in those thought patterns.
Nah, I think because you know what it is, like this kind of sort of creative stuff, it wasn't like a big dollar thing for our families back home, you know. So like in their heads, if you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you're this, you made it.
Yeah.
You know, so their minds, if you're not that, you're useless. Like, what's the point of you being in a Western country?
You know what I think? I think that my theory behind it is what, like for example, African parents and stuff saying, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an engineer. What they do is they set their standards high, so you can. They know you're not gonna really. Somewhere they know 1% is gonna be doctor, but they know like you can drop somewhere close to it. Be an accountant,
like
businessman,
put in between,
do construction,
project
management.
manager.
You know what I mean? That's what they want. But they say, but the thing is, if they told you, oh, you can be a construction manager or something, then you'd be like, all right, I want to be something lower than that. You know what I mean? But if they set the standard high, they can like you can fall somewhere just under it. You know?
See, that's true. That's true. That said though, when I came out of high school, I did that because I did like a year of it, just at Vic Uni, and like that second semester, I was depressed. I reckon that was the first time I was like depressed, because I remember like when it got to that second semester, like I wasn't even like getting out of bed. I was just like staying in bed all day. The reason why is because like I thought I was, you know, like I thought I was failing. I thought I was the failure. And like I didn't envision, even though like I had my interests, I never even imagined that like that could be like a valid career or anything like that.
Yeah.
But bring it back to the music. One thing that I was doing that year was beginning to go to like, you know, events with my sister. I got 2 sisters, but I was going in particular with Jessie, who started Born and Bred with. And we started to go to events, starting to meet people bit by bit. We started Born and Bred actually, like I think around July that year. And just because before that we've been going to events, like we met one of the guys in the early video, a guy called Jody. He actually was kind of our gateway into the scene. And shout out to him always, and that was just like, wow. And then just seeing that, oh, hold on, this music thing is really thing. And then in creating Born and Bred, particularly in the start, like it just like lit, well, I say us, because obviously Jesse and I both created it, but I'll speak for myself. It just lit me on fire. Like it just like really just like, hold on, like this is like, it excites me.
Found your spark.
Yeah, you know, found that
Hey,
spark.
shout out to Jeremy, but.
Sorry?
Shout out to Jeremy.
Jody.
Yeah.
Jody. But yeah, like it was just it just set that off. And so when I came to the end of that year, I was just, you know, like I'm not doing this shit anymore. And then, you know, just kind of talked to some people. My mum helped me out as well, actually. He's like, oh, like, well, like, look at your interest. What do you actually like doing? And yeah, settled on like at the time a diploma of screen and media. And then that year, that was 2018. That was great. Again, I was still going to events heaps, more and more and more. I'm still doing Born and Bred, meeting people, connecting, networking with people, etc. But kind of I think music was the thing that kind of like pushed in that direction. And kind of like just loving the music, live events, you know, that kind of thing. So, and you know, now where I'm at now, like it's played a massive part. If music hadn't been like a big part of my life, I'm not sure where I'd be. And in terms of like the music I actually like make at the moment, it's just like poetry and stuff like that. I haven't released any songs yet. I'm working on it, but just lockdown makes it a bit tricky. I'm trying to release my first single before the year ends. But it's just like, again, just like I just love music too much not to actually participate in it too, you know?
You can stand on the sidelines and enjoy it at the same time, huh?
Sorry?
You can stand on the sidelines.
Exactly. You can stand and watch it, but then at some point, like, because I love, you know, writing poetry. Like I love the expression of it too. So like, and you know, I've been writing in terms of like you know, my music and Kofi C and stuff. Which Kofi C is just, my middle name is Kofi Christian, so Kofi C, that's my name. But in terms of that, like I've been writing since like high school, but I only kind of did it as a joke and stuff like that. Like, well, not a joke, but like I'd only kind of do keep something it to myself, on the side, or kind of for fun. But then I'm trying to take it more seriously now. Just anyway, not make a massive career, but just put my best foot forward with it. And if it goes off, it goes off. But again, music. It's pretty much like it's guided me to. It's kind of guided me, continues to guide me to kind of who I am. I guess who I'm meant to be. I feel.
Speaking on that, I feel like there was a nice point you spoke about was that time when you were doing the construction on that building construction course in that first year, and it's like you knew this was something you didn't want to do, and you spoke about feeling that moment of depression where you're just lying in bed, not knowing that like I don't want to go study or I don't want to do this course, and then knowing that your passion was music in a way and you wanted to do something with that. What would you probably say, let's just say to a viewer, for example, because a lot of people experience it, you know, like I even experienced it. I was doing a course, for example, that I wasn't enjoying, you know, but I put it on a hold because I'm like, you know what, let me focus on my work career at the moment. What would you give like advice to a viewer that's in that position? Let's just say they're doing a university course or they're in a job, for example, that they don't like, and they get out of bed, they still go, and they know they hate it and they know they don't want to do it for the rest of their life. What would you tell them, like at that moment? Would you tell them to sit back, evaluate it, or would you tell them to, and like think about whether they do want to go ahead with it, or would you tell them to
see if it's one of those things where like they have to work or they're just getting money to get to something they actually want to do, then by all means do it, because when you finally get to that thing, it'll be worth it. But if you're not sure, particularly for uni, work is a bit of a different situation because, you know,
gotta pay bills.
But yeah, gotta pay bills. But in terms of uni, honestly, man, like, and I'll speak particularly to, you know, African viewers, which, you know, like, low key, if you can do it and survive, don't listen to your parents in that sense. Or if you're coming out of high school, take a gap year. Or if you're in a degree you don't like, take a gap. Take a semester off, take a gap year, and like take time to figure out and do what you like. Don't, like I'm not. Because in terms of myself, like, I mean, I'm not necessarily mad that I went through that, because like, it was a necessary part of my life and it taught me things about myself.
You got the experience.
But it was an experience. But I wish I hadn't have spent as long in it as I did. And if I could make it shorter, that time shorter, because I did the whole year. If I had only had done like the 6 months, that would have been a bit better, Like, I just feel that was unnecessary. Well, not unnecessary. It's all necessary.
Just, what it is. At the same time, it's those double thoughts you have. It's like, oh, should I continue it? I don't want to do it, but I want to do it. Or let me get past this semester first. I feel like that's what kept you there for that year, maybe.
Well, yeah, that was kind of it. Like, I thought, let me just try. But eventually, it got to the point where, like, I was really trying, man. But like, I literally, like, again, I'm not gifted at maths or physics. I mean, I thought, because the thing is, when I came out of year 12, I was like, look, I know it's gonna have a bit of maths because it's construction management, but it's about, I kind of tried to bend it as if it's something, it's about teams leading people. Now I can make this something
social skills,
exactly. But then I got there and we were literally just doing straight maths and physics, and like, I'm art, English, writing, like that's my whole. It's nowhere near anything I care about. I couldn't care less about it. And so I think for the people in that situation where you're just doing something that is just totally not you, deep down, if you look deep in your heart, you really know. And don't make yourself miserable, like, and obviously always respect your parents here, but don't make yourself miserable for your parents. Yeah. Your parents, they've done a lot and they sacrificed enough, but they didn't do it for you to be miserable. They did it for you to have a good life. It's very easy, understandably, to kind of hear that voice because it's your parents, and we're not on that "fu mum" type rebellion thing, But it's like, your parents, you're not living your life for your parents, and they didn't even give birth to you for you to live for them. They live in, So it's just, I think take the time off and figure it out. It's particularly if you're in uni, don't stick in something that you might actually fail at and kind of like struggle at, if it's not giving you any good, just for your parents, because then they want you to they don't want you to fail that thing either.
The thing is too, a lot of people, and I feel like I've seen this with a lot of people that I went university with, and they were doing courses that they didn't enjoy, for example, and you can tell they're doing it for, let's just say, for the sake of their parents. Let me finish this semester off, or let me try a thing, and they're getting shocking grades, and they know they're not going to do it for the rest of their life, that career. What they need to do, one big tip I'd probably say is sit down and actually talk to your parents. And also, before you do, let's just say, have that conversation, or before you do want to leave the course, have a plan. What's your plan? What do you want to do? A lot of people, what they do is they drop out, or let's just say they defer from uni, and then they don't know what to do. So the next 3 months, they're sleeping in. They're not doing much. They're not planning towards what they want to do. They're not looking in the future. And then the time comes that they either go back to the course, or they just be like, you know what? Let me start another course. And then from there, you see people just jumping. Just doing first years of these subjects.
No, that's a good call. That's a good call.
It's probably the best thing is to communicate to your parents, because at the end of the day, they do love you. And if you tell them, look, I can't do this, and like, this is not for me, they'll understand. You know what I mean? Yeah, no,
exactly. And I'll just add to that as well, on that kind of adding a plan thing. Say in for the uni example, again, if you're doing uni and you want to take a gap year, like, particularly if it's only 6 months, maybe you can figure it out without that. But if you're doing like a whole year, or maybe you're going to like just leave your course entirely, I'm a big believer, like, sign up for like a short course, like a 6-month course in something that you actually enjoy, even if it's not a money maker. If you like only care about, I don't know, knitting or something like that, like join a sewing course, or if you like dancing, join like a dance, like just actually engage with the things you enjoy. Don't just take time off, because then you'll end up depressed again. Because now, oh wow, like I feel aimless, I'm not doing anything, you know what I mean? Like, do the things that actually fill you, because when you're doing the things that you enjoy and you're doing the things that fulfill you, I believe it also gives you clarity. I mean, sadness and hard times can give you clarity too, obviously. But I think when you're happy and you're looking at the things that you really enjoy, it kind of takes the fog and the kind of distraction away, and hold on, I'm really happy right now. I can actually see what I like, even if you're doing the thing you enjoy, like say you enjoy dancing, you're like, oh, well, why do I enjoy dancing? Oh, I love the movement. I love dancing with people. And then you can kind of key in, oh, wow, like I actually like moving around. I like being around people. Like those things actually like allow you to, you know, better explore and figure out, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want to say as well, like I completely agreed with everything you said from the get-go. I mean, I always bring up examples, but like I'll bring one more example. Like a lot of people, like they do that. What you said, they do a course for the sake of their parents. They do it because you know it's a high tier thing. It's, you know, it's status, whatever. And then they end up doing it. Some even completed as well. I know a lot of people that finish their course, but it takes them so long to find a job. And even if they do, like they're so like not miserable, but like they're just trying to get by. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like people don't appreciate, because everything is time. Like of course we want a good job for money and stuff, but like time is so important, and you want to spend a lot of your time doing something that you don't like doing and stuff. It's a strain on you. And I feel like our parents, they do things out of fear. It's not because like they don't want you to do that. It's because they're scared that you choosing that pathway won't be fruitful for you. You know what I mean? You won't get much out of it. So
exactly.
But I feel like a solution for that is what you said to it. But also, if you can find a way to do what you love and make like money out of it, and can monetize it and make a living out of it, and show your parents that you look, I'm being productive, whatever. But they'll change like this.
Yeah. As soon as you show them, you just gotta show them.
Yeah, and I'm not lie to you, it's a lot of African parents, bro. Money talk, everything change. Oh, sorry, bring money in, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the money talks, bro. So like, if you can find a way to make yourself like survive on what you love to do, and even like stack up and make money from it, bro, it changes everything, you know. And I feel like you can't just jump straight into it. You gotta have that balance. Maybe you do a course, have the experience of doing a course and not liking it, you know, or like work for a bit in a warehouse or do something. Get your finance up. You have to be some sort of productivity you're doing. You can't just get straight to your goals. So I feel like even when we do this talking trophies, we're not full time on it, you know. We all have our own separate things that we do in our spare time. And I thought maybe like one thing that we never had, I don't think you experienced it either. I don't think we never had like, oh, bro, our kids are wasting time. Never, man. Family has been very supportive. Like, see, right now we're in our living room, bro. Like they could stay in another room and wait for us until we're finished, you know. Or we'll go to my house, we'll film in my house, you know. And mom will go somewhere else until we're finished. Yeah. So like, if you can show your family that you're being productive, you got goals set, and you're not wasting time, I feel like they'll definitely support you.
Yeah, definitely.
And one question I do want to ask you about, viewers don't know this, but we met on the set of Sammy Obama's Men Don't Cry. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we had a chat, we was convo and we were talking and stuff. And I remember I had a conversation with you, and you mentioned to me how like faith is very important for you, faith and religion. So like, I feel like it's the same thing for me as well. So my question to you is like, how does faith play a part in your life, from your daily activities to your work to your craft to how you are, from like just in general?
It's interesting you asked that, because like, I think this year has been it's been a tough year for me, in the sense that like I've been like, it's always been like an anchor for me, you know, like it's always been like a big anchor, and like, you know, the kind of motivation behind like most of what I do. This year I've been struggling with it pretty heavy, and so as a result of that, it's kind of like made a lot of like, it's kind of, when something's your foundation and it's like shakes, it kind of shakes the whole building, you know. And so that's kind of me at the moment. But in terms of, I'll speak in terms of how it has, because at the moment I'm I guess kind of like, you know, actually kind of looking at things and questioning things for the first time. I wish I wasn't, but like, it's one thing that when you start, like, you can't go back to where you were before. It kind of like, it's either going to change or it's shifting. But yeah, man, I think like ultimately it was like the kind of main motivation, in the sense that like, I feel like one thing that like I you know, that is like, will always be concrete no matter what, is that like, you know, God made us all how we are, like specifically for that reason. Like, you know, he didn't make me to do construction, you know. He made me to, you know, he brought me across the world and gave me the perspective I have, and the kind of, you know, thing, so I can spread that. Not that I'm some sort of guru. I mean, you know, the people who've traveled way more than me. You know, I've only lived in Western countries. I've never been to a non-Western country. You know, so I can't even, you know, so even my experience there is limited. However, there's a perspective and an empathy I've gained from that, and I'm still gaining that kind of stuff. And I think I see it as like, you know, I'm put on, or at least one of the reasons why I'm here, at least, is to kind of share that and to promote that. Because I think I think if there was more empathy in the world, I think the world would be like a better place. And that's a very generic thing to say, but I think a lot of the time you see people doing things because they can't see the effect it has on others. They can't even imagine it. And I want to help bring awareness, you know, to that, you know, both for fun and both just so people can actually be like, oh, huh, you know, like for example, like, I mean, even with say like, I've never liked country music, you know, like, and for the longest time I said I hated it, right? But then like, you meet people who like, they love country music and they're, oh no, and you hear them talk about it, like, oh, actually, like, I can actually respect that, you know.
Sounds pretty decent, bro. Country music, man. Country
Well,
music hits,
well,
man.
well,
You
see-
gotta-
Yeah.
have you heard Country Road?
Baby, lock
I
them
have
doors and
Country
turn them lights
Road.
down
I
low.
haven't.
Home to the place.
I haven't, but I've heard a song or two that isn't bad. Like I used to say blanket statement is all trash, but then it's not bad. But even then, it's like me learning more.
Bro,
about
I like
it,
white people
put my
music,
mind to
man. Put some Taylor Swift on. Put some Lady Gaga. Nah, this guy likes Lady Gaga, bro.
Lady
Straight up.
Gaga slaps.
it. No, fair. Trying to think of who my like guilty. But well, I'm a big fan of video game music, like just in
Yeah?
general. Like
Sonic and stuff. Mario.
you literally Sonic music. Like don't get me. It's unrelated. But if don't get me talking about Sonic music, I'm obsessed with Sonic music.
Yeah.
That's
But it's not even music, just like noises. It's beep beep.
that's where you're wrong. You're incorrect.
Yeah?
I'm sorry.
Techno beats out of that.
No, not even techno, bro. Like literally, like here's the thing, because Sonic is a Japanese game. Yeah, think about the Japanese. I don't know what it is, and this is a complete tangent. But like whenever they do something, the level they do it to is crazy. If they say I'm gonna make a jazz song, they go crazy. If they say I'm gonna make a rap song, crazy. All the Sonic songs, like they just got a bunch of rock, jazz, like rock, jazz, hip hop, like it's they. I love video game music in general. Like I'm a big. I mean, it's probably not a secret, but I'm like a massive nerd. Like I love my. Like I love, you know, obviously animation. Professor Dad. I love animation. I love cartoons.
Which anime?
Love anime.
Nope.
You know, I love Lord of the Rings, fantasy.
So you like the soundtracks from those?
Yeah, I like pretty much. But it's because it's just so diverse.
Yeah, you're teasing people that like country music.
Sorry.
And you're teasing people that like
Well, I'm not anymore. That's the thing. I'm not anymore. I was, but I'm not.
Hey, you're spot on about that the Japanese thing. I feel like Japan and Korea, anything they make, like they make a top tier quality, bro.
It's
they don't play around, man.
They don't.
Look at
They really
Squid Games, bro.
Squid
Alice,
Games.
what's called?
I'm only on the
Alice,
first episode, so don't spoil anything.
Okay, you haven't started yet?
What is it called?
I'm on the first step.
Okay,
step.
alright. Bro, man, that stuff is so addictive, bro. I watched the first episode. I finished it all in like a day, man. That
What
thing
is
is
it called?
like,
Alice in. What is it? There's another one.
What?
There's an actual one, Japanese one, like
Is it Japanese
Tokyo.
or Korean?
Tokyo.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
another one. It's called Alice Escaping Alice or something. It's on Netflix. But that one's a banger. Yo, they don't play around, bro. K-pop too, anime.
But if you study a bit about the K-pop scene, like, bro, they took over like the black market, man. Like black people love like a lot of black African girls. They love K-pop, man. They know all the characters and stuff, and if you study like the camps, there's so much training behind like the K-pop camps, man. Like these guys are put into camps to train to be K-pop stars.
No, that is it's a
They
full
full
like
have,
industrialized.
skin toning, like creams and stuff to make sure like certain level.
Honestly,
It's
like
a camp.
honestly,
It's
like
trained.
toxic
the
over
it's
there.
really toxic. Like I
It's-
mean, like it's like
And we
it's
love it.
crazy.
We love it.
Yo,
we
it's
eat it up, yo, man.
crazy. They what's it called, like surgery over there, face surgery in what's it called in South Korea is $1 billion. I don't know, maybe $1 trillion. I don't know how much it is. It's a big business
And
there.
it's like because I mean I like I mean I don't listen to a lot of it, but I like K-pop, right? But like yeah, man, like it's the whole like it's I think the reason why I don't like it more is just because like I'm put off by just how I mean look, and that's not to say that the Western scene is like there are short forms with Western scene, but it's so industrialized, and again the skin lightening and the surgery and this like it's a big thing I've seen. I won't speak for all of Korea, but at least in K-pop videos and stuff like that, of like wanting to look almost as not Asian as possible. I mean, obviously, look, I'm not Asian, so I won't speak to it too far, but like, like it's trying to accentuate features that aren't necessarily natural to that people, and that's but hey, that's like a whole conversation.
Yeah,
so that's a whole different conversation.
They're beautiful people, but I love what's called Koreans and what's called Japanese people too. But I was gonna say, bro, I found out one of the characters in Squid Games. Do you know I forgot her name. The girl.
The main, the badass, the one.
Is it the one who took the money?
Yeah.
Go on your phone.
The one that everyone obsesses about.
Everyone's posting her
Everyone
now,
obsesses about this girl, man.
It's like Ho Yun or
Ho
something
Young,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Ho Yun.
Anyways, I just want to
found her
say,
name, I
even my
found
homeboy saw it.
Yeah.
He's like to me, he sent me a picture of her, and then he goes, and then I'm like, bro, hey, Kaz, don't post that she's my favorite, you know? And then he's like, Kaz, I tripped out when I saw you as the mutual on her. I was the only one following her. I see this because I saw her on Twitter, and then I watched the first episode.
Hey.
Yeah.
Say Byuk.
Yeah, even her, man. Apparently, I saw something. I don't know if it's rumors or stuff, but like I saw some guy like he got old pictures. She even had like facial surgery. Like,
but it's normal.
It's normal there.
It's
Like,
normal.
she put a bridge on her nose.
But you know, military service. The military service is compulsory in South Korea. Everyone does military service over there. You know, so everyone that goes there, does training. They have literally skincare products to help them in the military camps during their training for the skin tone, so they can keep it so they don't get dirty during the operations and stuff. It's like,
but they're actually they're
dedicated.
They're very clean people.
Yeah.
Very, like, they take care of themselves. Their hygiene's unbelievable, man. It's actually like, I feel like, and a lot of people like makeup companies from the West are like adopting their styles. Like they say like they use like weed leaves, like let's just say random leaves.
Yeah.
They use like the saliva of an animal or something like some crazy stuff. But
how about that
like,
tree, that little tree that everyone has now? I'm talking about that tree.
Oh, aloe vera?
Not aloe vera, that little tree, man. That the Japanese tree. It's a little plant. It's like a tree.
Bonsai?
Bonsai.
maybe
Is that used for skincare? I thought that was
I
just a
have no
general.
idea what it's used for, but everyone like I see
they
people's houses now,
just
man.
like use like they're like they're doing all these like unorthodox styles of like, you know, facial cleaning and stuff like that. And then like the West realized that like, yo, if you see a Korean man, they're pretty handsome. I'll tell you that. Even the guys at home, they're pretty handsome. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro. Have you seen Ho Young Sung from what's it called?
Me, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't see it that much. I don't like. I read about it a bit, but I don't get into it that much. I'm not gonna lie, but I like Korean soccer players. I love that.
Son.
Yeah, I love Son, man.
Guy, right? Shout out to him. You know Son? You know?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah. He's
Man,
a player.
are you from England, bro? You know what's the Premier League, mate?
Not that much. I mean, I follow Chelsea, but I don't really follow it that much. Just cause like, I mean, I just never like I was kind of more like into like kind of like the nerdy stuff. And, like, I enjoy
Games
playing
and
it.
stuff.
Like it's fun. And like I'll, you know, if a game's on, like I'll watch it, but like, I don't like follow it. Yeah.
But hey, real quick, you saying about cleanliness in Japan and Korea? I've been to Japan. I went there like after school. I'm telling you, the toilet in the train station is as clean as the one in your house. Like this, the level of cleanliness there is through the roof.
I've heard, yeah.
It's amazing, bro. How even the character of the people, like,
respectful.
they're so respectful.
No, I really want to go to Japan.
You know what's
it will trip you out. I'm not lying. When I went to Japan, the first 2 days I struggled. I thought it was gonna be easy. I struggled because the way they are, they're very like from A to B. Like they don't socialize that much, and they're not. I wouldn't say they're machines, but their purpose is just get their work done.
They are disciplined.
Their discipline is through the roof. Whoa.
Discipline plus productivity equals Japan.
Yeah.
They are the most efficient
and
people.
quality, bro. Everything in Japan is unbelievable, man. Like like for example, I remember there was when I was in school, there was in the city in the middle of the CBD there was a sinkhole.
Yeah.
So Japan has a lot of sinkholes because it's near the equator.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They get a lot of earthquakes, tsunamis. So they got a sinkhole earthquake and made a sinkhole in the middle of the city, CBD.
Yeah.
Imagine Melbourne Central.
Yeah.
You know? Luckily no one died, cars fell in, everything. They managed to fix that sinkhole in 3 days.
Really?
They filled it up and then they opened it after 1 week because they had to test it was safe and stuff. 1 week. If that happened in Melbourne, man, it would take at least 6 months, bro.
It's
8 months, 50 smokos, you know.
Have you seen the in China where they like knock down the buildings and they just build them up, or how they like during COVID when COVID started, how they made those hospitals like
50 hospitals, yeah.
No, I'll tell you what, and even America, man, is like, I mean, nothing compared to obviously China and Japan, right? But like I remember, cause there were so many like, you know, Mexican people coming in, they just have them build it. Houses used to go up in like weeks and months. And then I remember when I moved here and like you just see a house and it's just like in its foundation for like 2 years. Every time I drive past, I'm not dissing tradies, but every time I drive past, they're chilling by the radio.
Yeah.
And I'm just like
10 smokers, bro. And they get paid top dollar as well.
Because you know what? You know what it is? It's all these permits and papers and all this stuff. It's not the traders. The traders will work if they have to.
Yeah.
I'm telling traders here,
Fair enough.
They know the job. Aussie tradies know what they're doing. But the paperwork, the permits, how this has to come in, shortage of this, that. Over there, man, they're bringing it up. They don't care. Maybe a couple casualties, but that building's coming up.
You know, exactly. But that's the
Like
thing.
Even
Exactly.
Qatar, even the World Cup, you hear about how many people are dying falling from building from the stadiums over
Oh yeah,
dying from heat
Well,
overheating.
I mean that's the thing though, isn't it? It's like I mean, yeah, you look at sometimes you might drive past and be like, why aren't you working? But it's like the quality of life is is better. Like I mean, Japan is again super efficient, everything like that, but highest suicide rate in the world and stuff like that.
100%.
In fact, now and now they're trying to put in laws to kind of get companies and people to like rest
Slow
more
down, yeah.
because like people just they just work like literally to death. You
There
know?
was
But when I went to 7-Eleven in Japan, the first thing I did was go to 7-Eleven. You know, 7-Eleven there is like McDonald's everywhere. So I went to 7-Eleven and I wanted to get like a sushi triangle. They got like triangle sushi. I got it. I'm waiting in the line. When I gave it to the counter, the lady took it. She scanned it. She got the change that I had and the receipt. Put it back on the counter in less than 5 seconds. Like that. And then you know me, cause I'm very talkative. I like to talk.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, hey, how you going? Where you come from? I want the conversation, you know? Oh, you guys new here, whatever. She looked at me. She's like, hey, like quick, like next. You know?
Arigato.
Arigato next. And she looked at me like with respect, honor, like quick, take your stuff and go. I looked at her. I didn't know what to do, but I looked at her. I took her. I said thank you, and she looked at me like, all right, keep going next. You know? I looked at her. I went off. That was a big like.
Yeah, no. The thing is, maybe you know why you were in the city. Was this in Tokyo or something? In the city?
This was like in a random 7-Eleven, like in like it wasn't the CBD. It was like in the outskirts.
Yeah, because I was gonna say maybe it's different in the countryside. Because even my experience, I remember when I used to go when I went Thailand.
Yeah.
Like, and we were in like, for example, the outskirts of Phuket. Phuket, they hated us. They hated foreigners. One time I was riding my scooter and had speakers on. I was riding it, yeah. The guy pulled me over. He goes, you have license? And then I'm like to him, yeah, here, I gave him my learning permit. He's like, he looks at it, he goes, you from France? I'm like, no, I'm not from France. If you're from France, you go to jail now. For some reason, they hate French guys. Because I think the French guys are just, especially the black guys, are go hard, you know? So like, but then when you go to the outside of the city and you go to like, let's just say the small towns or let's just say little islands and stuff, you kick back with them. They're happy to talk. They want to laugh. You sit down with the kids, you know, you just talk with the kids and stuff. I feel like it's because in the inner city, they're so like, it's just like productivity.
Capitalism.
On steroids.
Yeah.
That's why they like that maybe.
Of course, man.
But I feel like we went off topic crazy. But it's all right. It was
started
it
off
was,
with
it was
Sonic.
worth it. Shout out Squid
We're
Games.
talking about traveling. Oh yeah.
So obviously, as you know, Noah does what's called a podcast called Bournexbred, and in one of the episodes, he spoke about jealousy in the creative scene. One of the key things that your sister said spoke about, for example, is when seeing the success of someone else, being able to process, it's not about me, it's about them, their success. You know, like for example, let's just say if I see someone, if Sean lands wins the lottery, you know, like, or let's just say, or make more realistic, like he gets a good crazy job. Why is it my instinct like, oh, why did they, you know, like why did they get the job over me, rather than be like, oh, he got the job, good for him, you know, I'm happy for him. And you know, let's maybe elaborate a little bit about how toxic jealousy can get, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think in terms of like why we do that, I'm not sure. It's kind of like a human nature thing. But I feel like I think it's just the idea of someone that you're next to, like the people that you're next to and around kind of become like how you like, you know, becomes kind of a part of like your self, you know, your esteem, kind of how you see yourself. It kind of becomes a part of like who you are, even unintentionally. At least if you like the people that are around you, right? So when that happens and then someone who, is in the same position as me jumps up, but you feel left out, I think it ultimately comes from that. But I think, and this is something that you said, I liked how you phrased it. It's like, it's almost like competitiveness isn't as like it's almost like competitiveness is like a good side of jealousy, you know? I think jealousy is like one side of like, just, you know, general kind of like, I don't know what I call the kind of whole thing, but it's like a multi kind of, you know, side thing, like, because
from there you can get envy, you can be envious, you can be hateful,
you can be inspired too.
You can be inspired, you can be I don't know, like you can get different emotions from jealousy.
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like I feel jealousy is like, it's ultimately it's a choice. I mean, I think it's not an easy thing to not choose in a sense, because if you don't know how to not choose it, then what are you going to do? Like, it's not saying that like, oh, if you felt jealous, you're bad. No, not at all. But it's just a matter, it's just a matter of like consciously choosing, like, I'm not going to be just, and it just makes your life easier. Like, one thing I still struggle. I'm someone who struggles with comparison like all the time. I'm always looking at people and things. But one thing that I've gotten better at, and I can say I believe I've gotten better at, and because I can feel it, is that kind of jealousy thing, or just like actually just rather than be mad that they have it, you don't. Look at their flowers. Think about the effort they may have put into it.
They put in work. It's not easy.
They've earned it. Yeah, they've earned it. And it's like you can just kind of relax and be like, just. I think one thing my therapist said one time is that talking about when you're kind of looking outside, you got to tend to yourself. Also, just look at yourself. It's like I think it's easy for jealousy to switch off when you just go into yourself. I know I said it in the video, but I'm saying it again here. When you just go into yourself, like, well, what am I doing? And you take the attention off. It's like, oh, okay, well, since now that I've actually looked, let me look at what I can do to get to them. Yeah. And also, do I actually want what they want, or am I just jealous that they seem to be doing better than me? Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if that answers the question, but
yeah, no, it was definitely a good point.
I think with jealousy, bro, like me, I'll be honest with you, like I feel like jealousy is human nature, bro. It's people who lie and say that they don't get jealous. That's not true at all, man. Like everyone has a moment in their life where they at least feel like, "Fire, look what they're doing." Like you have the comparison feeling at least, And like one thing, I used to hate jealous people, bro. I used to hate them. Like if I found that someone was jealous, bro, like I'd be like, bro, like you have no reason to be jealous. You're just jealous because you didn't have what you have. You know what I mean? And one thing I realized too is I feel like, I'll say it again, for me, faith played a big role. So I feel like and like in my religion, we believe like everything's written for you. So if you're meant to have XYZ, you have XYZ. You know what I mean? Everything's already meant for you. So it's all about how you work for it. And that's what I feel like people don't really have that. Like if you spend your whole life working on something in a career or something and it doesn't work out for you, I understand completely why you would be jealous, man. Or like if you some people really do work hard, they work really, they put blood, sweat and tears, and it doesn't turn out the way they want it to be, and it can be so devastating. And then you see someone else who might not even put half as much effort as you have, and they're doing way better, like someone I feel like doesn't have like a deeper thinking or meaning or like a deeper like type of like having faith, That's in my opinion. I can see clearly why you'd feel that way, because you feel like you put everything you're sacrificing is like your resources, everything, and it's not coming out the way you want it to be. So, but now, like me learning a lot of stuff throughout life, I learned, bro, like regardless of what I've done, I believe in God, so God has meant for them to get what they want supposed to get, regardless of how they got it. So I feel like everyone just had like some sort of like firmness, I
feel that too, actually. And kind of as you were talking, I was thinking like one, I agree with everything you said, and also like I think another big part of that kind of stuff, being jealous is like really insecurity as well. Like when you're insecure, and it can happen to everyone. Like everybody doing better is evidence for why you're not as well. And so like what is just something happening to them is which is good for them, or just a neutral thing is like, oh, it's actually an attack on me. And I think that's also a big part of it, and like. I wouldn't consider myself. There have been times where I've like felt a bit jealous, but I wouldn't consider myself like a jealous person. But the times where I did feel jealous, it was insecurity, and that can come from either like something deeper, like you genuinely don't, a part of you believes that you're not enough, or you actually haven't done enough to feel proud of yourself. Like I feel like if say like there are two, say I don't know, just say videographers for example, right? And you're putting in the same amount of work, and then someone gets a job at like ABC. If I feel like it's hard to be jealous then, because you've both worked hard and you've put the work in, and it's not so much about why did they get it and not me. I mean, it can be potentially, but it's not so much about why did they get it and not me. It's more just like, oh, look, I know I was working just as hard as they were, but it just came to them. Yeah. But if you're like a part of you only put in half the work and they get an ABC, but then you kind of still feel you should be there, that's just your mismatched ego and security, because your ego is telling you should be at like working at ABC. But for some reason you're not putting enough work in, so you feel insecure about that. And so it's kind of like, it's almost like insecurity is like the gap between your ego and I guess the work you're putting in. Because if you're secure in yourself and then you put in half the work, you can just say, oh, well, I didn't put enough work in. Yeah. Or you can say, oh, well, they got the opportunity and wasn't for me, my time will come. I'll wait for something else to open up and keep putting the work in. You know what I mean?
So it's like working on your insecurities.
Yeah,
deal with
basically.
I feel like you gotta also acknowledge the jealousy as well. That's important.
That's true too. Yeah.
You gotta acknowledge it. Yo, I feel jealous. I'll tell you that. I feel it.
It's
I
human
acknowledge
nature.
it. It's something that I can't control. Like I'm not gonna like if someone does good, I'm always happy for them. That's one thing. Me, I've never genuinely like been like, I should have got it or
Yeah.
he got in. I've never been that person. For some reason, it's just never in me. Because as Sean said, I've always been raised with the idea that everything's written for you. You know what I mean? Like whatever money you make, for example, in this world, whether you get it clean or dirty, it's written for you. However it is, everything's written for you. You just gotta be yourself, be your best. That was dangerous.
Yeah.
I think that should be the title for
Yeah.
today's episode.
Yeah, for
be
real.
yourself, be your best.
Called Dr. Berry.
Yeah.
But I genuinely acknowledge that feeling of jealousy. But what I do is, as we spoke about how like there's different aspects of how you can deal with the jealousy. For me, it's always been that competitiveness. So like I'll be like, okay, I need it. How am I gonna get to like, for example, that level? Or for example, if I see someone making money, okay, like let's just say I see a friend who's landed a good job. I'm like, okay, I work at this current role. How can I make more money? Or find a little side hustle to make similar income. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always had that idea, like, how can I get around? Let's just say, okay, let me try playing around with my tax this year. You know, like getting around it or doing whatever I can or finding a side hustle. Even with talking trophies, I genuinely I'm competitive. You know what I mean? I genuinely love every other podcast. You know, but I'm out here like, okay, listen, how can we like be that?
How can we take over, man?
How can we take over? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love every other podcast.
Yeah.
I support
You wish the
every other
best on
podcast.
everyone as well. You wish the
Like,
best, yeah.
And the thing is, with talking trophies, we always collaborate. But I want to be the best. Like
Yeah.
I genuinely want. Like it got to the point I'm like, I'm not doing this for fun anymore. Let's go strive for a thing.
Yeah,
Strive.
yeah.
But I don't want to be the best and like do whatever is the mainstream or like for example, do whatever's gonna get me the views. It's like be ourselves and like get the numbers. You know what I mean? For example, or have fun doing it.
Yeah,
And let's just say, is there a way we can make the videos more engaging? It's competitiveness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Literally, I sat these guys down. We did a Zoom call. Dead set to plan season 3. I told them by season 4 of Talking Trophies, I want to be recognized, like for all of us, Talking Trophies recognized in Melbourne. And then they said, yeah, you know what? We agree with it.
Yeah.
And we're on board. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? By season 4, we wanted to be recognized all over Melbourne. And then let's just say season 6, we're recognized across the country.
Yeah.
That's how we set it up.
Yeah.
It's that competitiveness. It's structured competitiveness.
And I feel like, bro, you got to be competitive, man. Because that's how you progress.
Yeah. And us, we're not the same as other podcasts. You know what I mean? We're very different. Even like, look at the environment we're in. Like, you know what I mean? The style, how we speak is not the same as every other podcast.
Yeah.
We're very different. But we want to stay ourselves and then be the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We want people to acknowledge like who we are. And, from that, like say, oh, you know what? These guys talking trophies, they're moving up or they're doing better. But you know what? At the same time, let's just say, if I see like the other podcasts doing better, I'll be like, yo, okay, what do they do good? They'd say, I watch other people's podcasts in Melbourne now, and I'm like, what did this person or what was the discussions that was good? What points did I enjoy the most? How did that person specifically in that podcast speak? Whether it's a female or a male, I actually like dead said I'll narrow it down when I'm listening to their podcast. And then what I do from there is I listen to I never used to listen. I never, me, what's funny? I never listened to podcasts. I actually never listened to podcasts. Dead set, like before Talking Trophies, people were like, yo, Kaz, what podcast did you listen to get you into like making Talking Trophies? I genuinely never thought. I just thought, let me interview people, and then got my cousins on board, and they just like, enjoyed it. And I never listened to podcasts, and I don't even think Sean listens to podcasts.
Barely.
Barely. But I'm telling you, after the first season of Talking
Joe
Trophies,
Rogan, maybe Joe Rogan here and there.
Joe Rogan, short
Breakfast
clips
Club,
here
I
and
don't know
there.
if you count as podcast.
That's a radio station.
Yeah, still,
But like, dead said, the only reason I listened to podcasts after starting Talking Trophies was to get better. How did that person speak? Because if you see me from the start, I have a thing where like, if I speak fast, like in a certain pace, I start stuttering. It's always been a thing since I was a kid. If I get too excited, I just start, stuttering a little bit.
Yeah.
That's different level. But like, I'll start stuttering a little bit.
Yeah.
So like, I listen to the other podcasts, see how they speak, pick up things from this. Like for example, that speaker. Okay, he's good at understanding what the guests want to talk about. Or okay, he's good at interpreting what the guest says and jumping over to the next topic. And then I'd say, okay, my weakness is, for example, my weakness was I'd always look at the phone.
Right.
Whenever I'll be like, oh, am I sure about the next topic or something like that?
Right.
So I had those weaknesses, and let's just say, I'm already thinking about the next question instead of focusing on the current topic we're talking about.
Yeah.
So what happened was, I'm like, I need to improve on those weaknesses. I didn't improve on those weaknesses for the sake of it. I improved it just to make, because I'm so competitive that I want this. I genuinely believe in this project. Like, I genuinely believe in me and my cousins that we can be like, best in like the top in Melbourne, like known in Melbourne. That I'm out here like working on those weaknesses.
You know what's funny as well is that like some people think that like competitiveness is like kind of like an ego thing, but I think there's a lot of humility in it, because I think bringing it back to the whole jealousy thing and kind of tying it to what you're saying, right? I think it's competitiveness is like it's healthy when you see something and you're like, okay, they've got something I actually want. How can I get there? Yeah. Versus it's just toxic jealousy of like, oh, they have it and I don't. Because I think in some cases, people get jealous where it's like, well, do you actually want what they want, or are you just mad that they have it, that they're getting shine, And that kind of ties back to ego and stuff like that. But it's like, what you're, we're talking trophies and with like improving and everything like that. What you guys are doing, it's like, it's not about ego. It's about, well, bring it back to the beginning of it, purpose and discipline. And just being, being the best and actually, but not for the sake of ego, because if it was for ego, then you'd be being more like other people.
Ego wise, it'd be like changing what we do. Just for the clout, for example. There's a lot of moments where we did get clout. We got like a lot of views, let's just say, on TikTok and stuff. But like, and this guy loves it. Sean, he loves it. He loves the clout.
No.
There's nothing wrong with like
he loves it. We love it. It's banter.
I don't mind the momentary times where it's like, okay, you know what? Hey, spot us honest for a bit. Why not?
It's not a bad thing.
Obviously, I do think anything excess is bad. So like, if you're too much into a cause, it'll stop you. Even your work ethic will get bad. Even why you do things will change. Why you do your podcast will change. You'll get for views.
You're literally gonna be doing topics that like can get you views.
You're
not even gonna be talking about things you want to.
You want to be controversial, not for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Like. Like us, we're controversial, but like we're not out here like we're gonna say this. It's
we're gonna get these guys angry.
Let's get them angry and think.
It's just about, well, I'm just talking about what I want to talk about. And if people rub people the wrong way, so be it. Which is the way to do it.
You know what it is? It's the thing is, I don't find controversy like wrong. Like if you're out, like if you say something mistakenly, like that's wrong. Okay, like you can learn from it. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, everybody's controversial. There's no one who has a non-offensive, thought or belief to someone.
I promise you, in 50 years, the values we carry today will be immoral.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The values our parents carried, we see them as wrong now. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like our parents and grandparents used to do was wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In 50 years, I will get cancelled for something.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yo, this guy spoke about something in 2021 and he's cancelled. We don't want to have him anymore. But you can never judge the values of past people to the values of now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I don't know, man. I feel like we're always going to be changing. I feel like the best thing to do is understand and be like, okay, he did say that wrong. Hey, listen, privately, tell the person, hey, yo, you did this wrong. This is the best way to do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you actually do want to like teach them or have things change, you're like destroying them, won't do anything, Like
exactly. People just put their defenses up, and they either just tuck it in deep in the closet, or they just join a community of people that like
call them out, get the support from them.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys,
they love that little clout.
Literally. Like I'm trying. Oh, there was an example recently. Like I know, like you'll see, like even like, I mean, look again, like that. Obviously, I'm not gonna get along well necessarily with someone who's like against Black Lives Matter, right? But like, and it pisses me off when someone disagrees with it. Yeah, but like, so some people will go against it, and then people would flame them, and next thing you know, that person's joined some sort of like right-wing conservative group, where it's even worse. You know? They wouldn't necessarily agree with that stuff, but because like now it's like that's like you don't want to push people to extremism, because extremism in anything is bad.
I feel like it's like this now with let's just say like for example, people that are against like the COVID, the government restrictions, whatever. Some of them probably just started off as regular guys or girls, just at home. Oh, we're gonna get the vax or whatever, you know what I mean? Or we gotta, stay at home. They're like, oh, I'm not much of a fan of it, this, that. And then someone coming down saying, you're the reason why. If you're against it, you're the reson why, people are dying, blah, blah, blah. They'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm just staying home. Blah, blah, blah. I just want to go for walks. I just want to see my nan. Next minute,
Okay, well, next thing what
Because you're
happens
making
is
the division, and then you're furthering them becoming more divided.
exactly
Yeah.
because then what happens is while that's happening, and someone who's actually crazy, is actually in a conspiracy theorist, is like, see how they're treating you now. See, that's the thing. That's and that's what the government's trying to do. And because the person's just hurt and they're offended, they're like, well, you know what? You're right. At least you're hearing me out, and then they'll join. And then that's So that's exactly right.
You guys, I'm sure you guys know Dave, of course, from England, the UK artist.
Oh yeah.
Dave. Like a while ago, he made it like I think knife crime went through the roof in London, and he said, bro, the police should be out there searching kids for knives.
Oh, he said that.
He said that. Like he said, the police should they should make stops in certain places where they see youths, like do like a knife search. I'm not sure about the exact words he said, but something along the lines where in certain areas do a knife search. And he got destroyed. He got slammed for that, man, so bad. And he got slammed by the same people who loved his music, who fans and everything, And then
saying what?
They were saying, bro, how dare you? You're a black person. You're anti-black. You're da da da. They made him like such an evil person for saying that. But the thing is, you have to understand it's all circumstance, And you can see someone's like genuine at their feeling. He said, bro, kids are dying like left, right, center. And then he made a song. He responded back. He's like, I'm sorry for the tweet I said about the searches, but my heart was just hurt. I don't know. He said something. He said a bar. He's very lyrical. He goes, I was just confused and I was worried, and I said I apologize for but the thing is, the way we drag them out, drag them out in the dirt and the mud, and someone like for sure
isn't
is
his
not
brother
like that.
locked up? Isn't his brother locked up?
Yeah.
And he grew up in that environment. Let's just say. So listen, even for example with me, if I come out now and say, hey, listen, there should be more regular, let's just say, police coming around the area. And let's just say if I say that for my area and people come for me, but I grow up and I see, for example, kids getting robbed, kids getting, run over, kids getting, chased by people that come into from different areas to this area. And then what, am I going to be wrong for saying that, hey, yo, there should be more policing here? You know what I mean? For the safety, let's just say for my siblings or my nephews or my little cousins. You know what I mean? Like, he grew up in that environment. Let's just say with Dave, he understood that. He says, yo, there's an actual knife crime. And let's just say he might know kids that he's close with that carrying knives. You know what I mean? But people that, let's just say, that probably jumped on that wave, probably live in the suburbs.
And mind you, his best mates got murdered during that time when he made that statement. So when he made that statement, he was actually like talking about his friends. He was in pain,
And it's like, what he needed there was just like, if anything, correction rather than just being slammed, like, oh well, like I get what you're saying, but if you put more police there, they might not, they're not going to treat the kids the way that they deserve to be treated. You might kind of treat them like criminals, the cops themselves, stuff like that. Like
that's what I'm saying.
In the case of that, he's someone who knows that. So clearly, who's speaking out of pain. He just think about it more, think about it better. But people are too quick to just jump on execute him. It's like French Revolution, just send them to the guillotine.
It's crazy. Like,
off with the head, huh?
I'm not. For example, even me, like I could say that we should police thing, but I see, like as you said, like bringing police to the area is just gonna cause a lot of stops. You know what I mean? And I've personally had interactions with police officers, and I'm just like, yo, I came out, I'm like FTP, bro. You know what I mean? Like I was like mad. Like I've been in situations where I was like, yo, I hate because like wrongfully, like for example, they'd wrongfully arrest me. I'm walking home and then they'd just drop me, put me in, get my details. Okay, wrong guy, and they just let you go. Like and what happened is I become anti-police. If you come to this area, most of the kids here are anti-police.
I got stopped yesterday, bro. I got pulled over yesterday, and like I had like my friend. He was next to me, like he's Arab, so like we got pulled over, and I'm telling you, the guy saw us from like a bit back far away. We fed on like face to face. He literally went behind the car. When he drove with us for a bit, he's like, I pull over. We pulled over, and me, I'm very compliant. They came, and the guy saying to me, give me a license right now. I said, sorry, but I don't have my license. And he was so aggressive. He was so angry. He was so he was. But my friend, like, he was like, bro, you can't talk to us like this. You just pull us over. At least come and say, hi guys, I'm pulling you over XYZ. He just really angry and aggressive. You know what we did? We literally played bad cop, good cop with the cop. My friends acting like, what are you doing this to us for? What do you mean? And the cop's like, and the cop like, he's aggravated. He's like, come outside. He literally said, come outside. Come talk to me outside. Because you have to understand, like, all these things you do, they can find a way to use it, like, against you. For example, if you step out of the car, then they can say, oh, threatening means whatever, blah, blah, blah. So you got to be very careful. So he's like, come out the car. My friend's acting like he's got like a mental problem. He's like, what do you mean? He's like spazzing out at me. I'm then like, calm down. I'm sorry. We're not like, we're playing good cop, bad cop. With the guy. And eventually, my friend comes out. They tell him to come out the car. He gets out of the car, the guy's talking to him, and she's trying to staunch him out, trying to, put it over him. My friend's trying to act like thing. And me, I'm in the middle saying, please, officer, I understand you doing your job, whatever. And then my friend goes, yeah, well, guess what? You did it with the person that has mental health issues. And the guy, he got so scared. He got so scared because he was like bro, I'm telling you, he was about to punch on with my mate. He was about to fight. He was about to go say, you know what? Police could start fighting because he was so like aggravated, And it was like a manly thing, When he said mental health, his mind straight went, okay, police officer on the news has, confronted man with mental health problems, whatever. The guy went to shush mode and he goes to me, look, mate. Look, I understand your friend's got better mental health issues, all right? I don't want to hide on him, all right? You've been very good. You're working with me, and I understand you're looking after him, whatever. Look, I'll leave you off with a final warning. He's like, all right, I'm not going to chill. Thanks, whatever. If he didn't do that, if I was just compliant the whole time, I would have gotten a ticket, a fine, whatever, He didn't find anything. He just wanted to find an excuse, so like maybe my plate wasn't there, or maybe like something, it was some BS, But because we did that way, like we worked it out. So I feel like it's all about life. When it comes to these kind of things in life, bro, it's all about experience and how you deal with things, not just like cussing someone out, bro.
I definitely, that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, people, let's just say with the Dave, we'll go back to the Dave thing, where he had the experience of people dying, being around that, and he developed his perspective, And then let's just say someone that doesn't live in that environment is saying, oh, why does this guy saying tweets like this, blah, 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 but they don't know what he dealt with. That's the thing. A lot of people see the world from their own lens. They don't want to see it from other people's lens. Like, this guy was actually, let's just say, was he in the street, man? He's seen this real stuff. He see all this. He's seen the pain, you know what I mean? And in comparison to some kid that's tweeting, some person that's saying, oh, I'm against you, tweeting from on Twitter that lives in a $1.1 million house saying, oh, why do you want over policing in your area? You know what I mean? So it's just, I feel like in this modern day, we just got to have an open perspective, as we said from the start of it. But I feel like, look, we did go over the top time. But
we got 10 minutes left.
Yeah, so I feel like the way we should wrap this up, I want to do this last topic, the second last one, but I feel like we don't have time for that. So I reckon we'll just wrap it up with, what are your plans for 2021, 2022? What can we expect? Are you bringing back Bournexbred?
Yeah, Bournexbred is coming back. It's been quiet just because I've just been too busy to give it the time it deserves. In terms of 2021, the plan is to get through. I can't lie, it's been a hard year, one of the hardest years of my life so far. Have not been enjoying it. So just get through in one piece, finish everything.
Come back stronger.
Yeah. And then next year, I mean, look, I'll see. I'm still figuring out, but just basically, just more content. I'm working on my own individual YouTube channel as well. Yeah. I want to drop a video before the end of the year, and we'll see how that goes, just with balancing everything like that. But just
tell us
more
what
content.
What's the individual page gonna be about? Or you want to keep that secret for now?
I'll keep it quiet for now.
And you're jumping off social media, by the way. File, we're gonna tag you on. I saw your post.
I'll shout this out. I'll shout the episode out. I'll go back off again because I really when I
hey, you got to, man. Hey, you gotta go off sometimes. I feel you, bro. Yeah, you gotta get that break sometimes, man.
Break.
Yeah, because I never have a break.
Detox.
I've never done a proper social media break, and it's kind of with personal life and stuff at the moment. It's just it's making things worse, really. But it sucks because it's tied to a lot of things I do.
Yeah. That's for me. That's with Instagram. I want to deactivate Instagram, but because of the Talking Trophies page and a couple other pages I manage, I can't think. I got rid of Snapchat. I deleted Snapchat, but it's just the Instagram.
It's literally a part of business,
And Twitter.
What do you mean? I wanted to make a new Instagram account because we follow all the people that are working on Talking Trophies and stuff, Me, I got so much history on my account, messaging people, hollering, sending DMs, sliding DMs and stuff ages ago, So me, I'm thinking, if this thing ever blows up, cause the accounts, whatever, you know what? Let me start refreshing everything, just in case, right?
I should have done that, man. I should have
just
refresh just before I start talking. Some girl's gonna pull out some old DMs.
This guy trying to hit me up.
But hey, man, thanks for jumping on, bro. We actually appreciate you, bro. That was an actual pleasure. I feel like if we did have more memory on the cameras, bro, probably we could have went.
Sure. We got 7 minutes, bro.
This could have been a 2-hour episode. Now we'll wrap it up here, but I reckon it's a good time.
Actually, hold on. One more thing before we do it. I just wanna quick play that video you played in with Chief Tabir. Chief?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna just ask a bit about that.
Go on the new tab quickly.
Yeah, man. Like, cause bro, I think for me, I find this like very personal. Like, 'cause not personal in a bad way. Like T-Pain reacted to the song that you guys made, and for us, we grew up in these areas. So like, for T-Pain to react to a video that was filmed in our area is like for us is like a really big feeling, you know?
No, it was when I saw that video, like my jaw dropped. I was like, that's crazy.
Where's T-Pain? Do the T-Pain reaction.
That's on his Instagram.
It's hard to find, man.
Oh, no way.
You're gonna screen record and stuff. I think you can find a clip out if you're
Where's
doing
the
editing.
TV room? It's over there. Where are they from?
Sorry?
Sudan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Beautiful video.
Yeah, man. They killed it.
I've been grinding on a daily.
This is in Flemington.
Yeah.
We've been grinding on a daily.
This is the mukbang.
It's a mukbang. We grew up in this mukbang.
Shout out to Urban Star, brother. Actually, J Money was there when they were recording it.
What's the name? Solid. Yeah.
Now we need to get her in the episode.
Yeah,
Actually,
man.
first we get
We need
Lydia.
to get this guy. We need to get Titan, bro. Hey,
Titan?
the main man.
Remember that. Let them know my name in Trinidad. Looking at the feature, no running back. Hit him where it hurts like a heart attack. Put me on the map. Aussie boy, you know, change the game like my name's Colin Kaepernick. Scrap you made this that new sound, this that new wave, this that new boy. Yeah, I'm born, but I'm South Sudan, and the 3011 made me. I roll double S, I do it for let my people know I'ma make you proud.
They would have tripped out in Flemba. Did the people trip out?
No, not at all, man. It's a really chill shoot.
It looks like the vibes, man. Just kick back.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was cold though, man. It was windy. I saw shot me. It looked like I was crying. It was the wind.
Celebrate your life, keep that promise that I made. Working on the rise, non-stop every day. Light it up. Tell the world that I'm coming up. I've been working, I'm so focused. Straight path, I'm focused. Steady,
Is that
and I'm
your pastor?
focused.
Yeah.
Never know, never will I ever change. Nah, never know, never will it be the same. Oh,
By Hashim.
Hashim's recording, yeah. I saw it. I tripped out.
I've been grinding on a daily.
Oh boy, you go out to work, he came out.
Yeah, like, he said, you know, let me be in a video clip.
Quick extra.
We've been grinding on a daily. Getting 9 to 5, this that time for us to shine. If you don't know me, then don't call me unless you're talking money.
That's crazy.
Nice, man. Shout out to Chief Tabir. Hedi, is that say it right?
Yeah.
There you go.
But I think before we wrap up, make sure you all subscribe, like, follow our page, check out Noah. But he might deactivate if you check out his page. You'll be around.
I'll be around. Well, look, you can subscribe to Born and Bred. I'm so sick of ads, bro. Yeah, you can subscribe to Born and Bred. Look, my account will still be there. I just won't be using it.
Suss it out. Check him out.
And yeah, like my account has all my other accounts. So
check out Born and Bred. Check out all his other accounts as well. And we'll be coming soon with season 3. We might be dropping a couple episodes just before season 3, but we're gonna hit you with a bang. Season 3, we're gonna be stepping up. And thank you for watching this episode. Stay humble, faith.
Hit a pen out, pour up heavy. In the lamb, on a Eddie. I got 3 O's, run a valley. You new Dios, not for belly. Stay that money, I for